I started as a product development manager here. I started to ask Åsne about this course she was attending to. What is it? And at the same time, I also got a few emails from different forums that I'm participating in, who also started talking about design thinking as an innovation method. And that's when I kind of clicked, oh, this is really interesting. And then Åsne started to tell me about this education and how this was a human-oriented innovation process. And the more she told me about it, the more interesting I found it. And also that it was it was really kind of our way to work, both because we are already working with open innovation in the Q areas, and also the fact that a lot of the stuff I heard about design thinking also matched lean principles, which is really important for us in Kavli. We're working a lot with lean and TPM, both in the production but also in the administration. So that's what kind of got me interested in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I got a chance to do a couple of workshops with you and your team.
Yeah.
And then every time I come back here, it seems like you're moving forward faster and faster and faster,
Yeah.
with all this ethnography and empathy and.
But not fast enough.
Not fast enough.
And then we started to talk about design thinking with both the marketing director and our CEO. And they found it interesting. And I said, okay, we need to get some more energy into the Kavli part. We have a lot of energy in the Q areas, but we needed both energy and new ideas and new concepts that really are working on in Kavli. So I said, hey, we have nothing to lose. We can try this. I really believe in it. And luckily, they agreed. And then we started talking to you, Farah. And luckily, you could come quite fast in January. And we collected all the marketing department, the whole product development department, and also our managing team. And I got to hear what really is design thinking about.
What was their initial reaction that very first time that you walked out into the world to talk and observe customers?
A lot of people which have been working in this project think it's really interesting and fun and engaging, and they love to talk to the consumers. And they tell me now afterwards that they have got another kind of understanding. And at least also it's not just the marketing department who gets this consumer understanding, but also the product developers, factory manager, quality. It's really good. We are cooperating in a very good way. But also, some people find this terrifying and does not want to participate in it. They feel they don't want to go into the consumer's home and speak to them and look into their refrigerators and no. But that's okay. I think we can convince them later on when they see the results. I'm sure they will think it's a good process. I don't think we will get them to go to speak to the consumers themselves, but that's okay. As long as the teams that are working with innovation wants to do this. I think we thought it would be like that they think it's okay when we come and we can ask them questions, and they were talking and explaining and everything went very well. And they told about how much sugar they eat in a week. Oh no, we don't drink Coca-Cola here, and so on. And then when we asked, could we please see into your refrigerator, they just go, do you have to? But we managed to be able to see into the refrigerators. And of course, we also discovered things there. Really interesting stuff when we really looked at, well, but why are you eating this? You told us that. And yeah, so that was a good thing to do. Really good. And one of the... actually, we went to a neighbor of one of the product developers here. And it was just the wife that was home when we interviewed them. And actually he contacted her the day after. And he, really, you could have told me that we were going to see into a refrigerator. So that's a soft spot. Yeah.
So from these processes, you get a chance to really understand things of humans that you tend not to in traditional marketing perspectives.
Definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about how Kavli is balancing those two worlds out, right? The more analytical, traditional, quantitative market research studies, and now this more qualitative, emotional, and personal research of design thinking. And also, how are you bringing those two worlds together?
Yeah. I think I thought that would be more difficult than it is. Of course, we have a long history in Kavli, so the insight we have from the marketing perspective, we know quite well. So what we have learned now during this process, it's not different, but you understand the consumer in a deeper way, I would say. But it's just like, oh yeah, we haven't thought of it like that.
Interesting. So one of the previous conversations that we had for this book revolved around how CEOs approach design thinking. Can you tell us a little bit about how the C-suite, the leaders at Kavli, have potentially embraced this new methodology?
Yeah. As I said, the whole managing team was part of the first course we had. And I think that was crucial, because now they know. I can go into our innovation board, for example, and give them a status every month. What have we been doing this last week? How far have we gotten? What have we found out? And they kind of understand the wording, the methodology, so that's easy. And now, actually, last week, also our CMO for the whole Kavli group started to show really interest for design thinking, and we are now talking about showing this also to Sweden and England in a marketing meeting in the fall. Yeah, so it's more and more people who are showing interest into this, and I think they can see all the energy it creates for all the people who are working on it. So that's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the POVs.
Yeah.
These 3 personas, if you will, that you've developed. Can you tell us a little bit about those POVs?
Yeah. I can start with Silja, who is an ambitious lawyer with her own kids at home. And what we discovered was how important it is for every mom to give healthy food to their kids. Not that super healthy, but healthy enough. It's a lot of social pressure out there. You need to be sure that what your kid bring to kindergarten or to school is okay. Because if not, we discovered in a much bigger scale than I think we thought. Actually, the kids are looking into each other's food And just say, oh, is this what you're eating? And then I'm going home and say, do you know, Anne, she's eating this and this for lunch. That's not good. And that you don't want that as a mom, that what you give your kid at school to eat is something that the parents are discussing at the dinner time. You don't want that. So that's a serious problem that we need to solve for her. And then the last one is Henrik. Family father, likes to cook. He likes to experiment with taste, but as he has kids and a wife, and it's a lot of rules around him. But he really likes just to dig into something really good. He needs to be, how do you say it? Fristet, tempted.
Yes.
Or something, yeah. So something which is, if it's the hamburger, that's okay for him. He is not that interested in nutrition, for example. It just needs to taste good.
Indulge,
actually. Yeah. So, and this Henrik is the person we have started doing prototypes on. So we have been doing quite a lot of interesting prototypes. And the last 2 weeks we have been out talking to different Henriks.
Can you tell me a little bit about how the different departments, like for example production and marketing and finance, how are they becoming a part of this?
Yeah, we are working together both from marketing, sales, product development, factory. All of us are in this project together, and it's quite interesting to see, for example, the factory manager. When he started getting into this project, he was like, oh, okay, what is this? And then he saw the ask 5 times why, and that for him equals lean. And then he was sold. Actually, he just, oh, this is good. And it's been really interesting to see how engaged they've been through the way, and how they are now understanding the marketing language better. They understand now why are they so into understanding the consumer and doing all this marketing testing, because now they've been out there. They have been talking to the consumer themselves. And now they really, really understand why this is important. Before it's easy. We can come up with a lot of ideas based on the equipment we have on the factory. It doesn't help if it's nothing the consumer needs. If we don't solve anything for the consumers, we don't have a product. We can be lucky and get it into the stores, but most probably it won't stay there for very long. So I think we have been, it's a good way to start to speak the same kind of language. If you're a product developer or marketing department or sales or whatever, we now start to really communicate around the consumer. And that's really important, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, and that adds a lot to the culture. Instead of standing a little bit like this, oh no, marketing has to do some testing. Oh, and the production is like, oh, can't we get to it? Oh, we want to start. Why are you doing all this? Why are you wasting your time on all the testing? Oh, is it so important? Do you need to have a red top on that one? Yeah, it's important. Oh, why? And now it's working very well. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the glue between all these perspectives and departments.
Yes.
Very
Definitely.
So I would love to transition on to this topic of rapid prototyping.
Yeah.
Because after our last workshop, you developed your points of views, right? You had these personas, they were really exciting, and then you moved on to coming up with as many ideas as possible, and then moving those ideas to physical, real-life products as quickly as possible. Can you tell me about that process?
Yeah. We started actually to involve a bigger part of the organization because we felt that all these personas that we developed was quite easy to get a grip on, to understand. So we went both to the marketing department, the production, product development, and told them about these 3 different personas. And then we used a whole wall outside the cantina, and we just asked everybody to come with your ideas, add on with post-it labs. And we have gotten over 40 ideas in 1 week, 40 different ideas. And I was a little bit curious when we started going through them, because I thought, okay, it's 40, but how many of them are spot on here? But actually, I found that most of them were really, really good and matched the personas. And I think the whole organization also, they understood it, that they thought, hey, this is interesting. There's really happening something. And of course, the feeling that you can add something to that yourself. I think that's good also, and for the people in the factory to be able to participate in this work. That's very good.
So now I want to move on to you.
Yeah.
So I remember when you reached out to me, I think like half a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you already seemed quite convinced and excited and sold.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your journey into design thinking? Because it clearly started way before you and I met.
Yeah.
And also, how has it potentially changed your role within Kavli?
Yeah. As I said earlier, I got a lot of information from Åsne, but also I saw this video of Clayton Christensen talking about milkshake, and I just found that fascinating. Because the regular way to look at a product, if a product isn't working or you want to sell more, the standard way of thinking is, oh, how can we improve the product? And then product development, which I'm a part of, gets that. Can you solve this? Make this taste better, and even better. But it doesn't always make the sales go up, because it's already tasting good. So the way he was thinking, really understanding the consumer and the problem this product should solve, that's what really fascinated me. It was, for me, it was a new way of thinking. So I think that was really the turning point for me, saying, can I think like this with the cheese? Can we look at this in a new way, solving some problems? And I know we have done with some of our products, let's say Skirmini, for example, which really solves a problem. I think every parent has experienced the yogurt with a spoon in the backseat of a car, for example. Doesn't look good afterwards. So this solves a problem for the consumer. But it's not easy always to find those products.
And now that you're using design thinking almost on a day-to-day basis,
Mm-hmm.
how has that changed your job in general?
I think the product development department is the one that really feels it from a day-to-day basis, and are changing maybe the quickest, because if you go a couple of years back, we were working more regularly as we used to. You kind of make this product, and oh no, I've changed it a little bit. Oh, I can do it a little bit better tomorrow, and a little bit better the day after that, and you almost never finish. And when you think, oh no, it's perfect, then you go out and test it on a consumer, and you just sit in here and just pray that they don't do like this. So that, I think, is the biggest difference, because the product developers also, they need to be out there, they need to just trust that it's okay. Oh, this is not perfect, but I can serve it to you, and I can ask, what do you think? To get a better product in the end. Just to fail early. And that really saves us time in the end. Even though it feels like it's time consuming when you should do all this prototyping and now go out and speak to the consumers. Yeah.
I sense that you're finding this very fun.
Yeah, definitely. But I love working with innovation and food. But I think I especially like the being a little bit in between the marketing and the product development. I love product development and understanding the food and all the theory, but I also love this marketing innovation, being in between there, and I think I'm very lucky to have this job.
Thank you very much. You're leading the way in design thinking in Norway.
Oh.
Takk.
You're welcome.